Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Full, I'd like to focus a number of my questions on you. If you would turn to tab 9, it talks about the center receiving 488 written and oral reports, complaints, and allegations regarding sexual abuse since the center launched until April 13th, 2018. Now, this is a significant number of cases. I'm also a former U.S. attorney, federal prosecutor involved in child exploitation cases, and so forth. Given the significant number of cases that your center has received, how is the center prioritizing cases in any way, if you are? And I have a number of questions, and so if we could be brief, and we may ask for more answers in written.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Yeah, we triage the cases as they come in. Again, if they need to go to law enforcement, that happens. We're inputting interim measures. If individuals are active, if it involves a minor, those are prioritized.
And can you please share with us in tab 9 that, as we've already heard, the allegations come from 35 of the 48 NGBs. And how are you working with the NGBs to make sure, and athletes, as we've talked about, the priority in athletes, to make sure that they are familiar that safe sport, that this center exists, and the policies and procedures? I know the NGBs do, but how do we make sure that athletes know you exist?
Yeah, great question. Thank you again. By the way, I think we're up to 38 of the sports now, the NGB sports. So how we do
38 of the 48 have allegations.
Correct. Have at least one report that we've received, at least one report. So again, we work with the NGBs. We have now a full-time NGB resources manager, and her job every day, all day, is to communicate back and forth with the NGBs, to give them consistent information, to listen to them also, for them to tell us what they need. For example, we heard they needed parent toolkits. We have a parent toolkit now on our website that anyone can access.
Are any of the NGBs not cooperating with you?
No, ma'am.
And I understand NGBs are various sizes and have various
resources
and various resources. But it's fair to say that all NGBs today are cooperating with you.
To the best of my knowledge, every NGB is cooperating.
In the 2018 omnibus, Congress established a grant program to help keep our young athletes safe. Has the Attorney General and the Justice Department, to your knowledge, set up the grant program yet and established the timing and content of the application of that grant?
Ma'am, we have not seen the RFP come out, the guidance come out yet regarding that grant program, but we look forward to it.
And it was a $2.5 million grant program, is my understanding?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
And how would if the Center for Safe Sport were to apply for this grant, and we will be making inquiries as to what is taking time to establish this grant program, authorized by Congress and passed by in the omnibus, how would those grant funds be used if Center for Safe Sport were to receive those funds?
Thank you for the question. Absolutely, to expand our response, meaning our response and resolution, to be able to add more investigators. Also, remember, the bill did call for us to do regular and random audits of the NGBs, again, so that we can further work and get the word out through them to the athletes, directly to athletes.
Have the audits begun yet?
No.
And why is that?
We don't have the resources to do the audits.
And so, and have you made any requests yet of the USOC or of the NGBs for more resources?
No, ma'am, not since the doubling of the support from the USOC. We are, of course, now looking to 2019 and looking at the contributions from all of the national governing bodies. And thanks, Tim, for stepping up and saying you could do more.
And there is no statute of limitations. I want to get that out as well.
Correct.
You mentioned that there are no statute of limitations with regard to the reporting.
Correct.
Or with regard to your investigations.
Correct.
And there has been some criticism with respect to the independence. I'd like for you to tell us, what is the center doing to ensure athletes can trust the center's independence and reporting of these allegations?
Absolutely. So thank you again. I don't answer to anyone at the USOC or any of the national governing bodies, nor does anyone on my team.
Do you expect the funding to always come from the USOC?
Our goal, ma'am, is to diversify that funding. We are looking at foundation funds, and some of that is starting to come in now. Certainly if the federal, if we are able to receive some federal dollars, that'll help diversify as well. I can't imagine a time where the USOC and the NGBs would not be investing in this space. I think they should be and will continue to be. But I also think that we can diversify that, especially in the area of prevention.
Thank you. And for the record, I'll be submitting a record for all of the panelists and commending USA Gymnastics for beginning the Athlete Task Force, and will be asking, and my time is up, as to whether or not each of the NGBs are creating an Athlete Task Force, which will shape the your organization's future in their decisions and their operating decisions. With that, I yield back.
Gentlewoman.